Hi, my name is Martin MacDonald, and I am so delighted to be the guest conductor for the upcoming concert with the Cathedral Bluffs Symphony Orchestra happening this Saturday on December 11th at 8 o'clock p.m. We have a phenomenal program lined up for you this weekend. A little bit of holiday themed music, a little bit of sounds of the upcoming winter season, and of course a dazzling violin concerto that's going to knock your socks off. So let's talk about the music a little bit. First on the program, we're going to play for you a piece of music by a Canadian composer. Her name is Abigail Richardson Schulte, and this was music written after the great Canadian author's book, The Hockey Sweater, and that author being, of course, Roch Carrier. Now, if you're familiar with The Hockey Sweater, like I am, it's a book I read when I was growing up. It tells the story of 1946. We're in small town rural Quebec, and Roch is telling the story of him and his friends, how they basically, hockey for them was life. And not only was hockey life for them, the Montreal Canadiens and Maurice Rocket Richard was everything to them. They idolized Maurice Richard for his playing. And when they weren't in school and when they weren't in church, they were playing hockey. And all of the kids in the town wore the same number 9 on their backs, the same Montreal Canadiens sweater. And this story tells how one day Roch's mother decided that he needed to replace his Montreal Canadiens sweater with a new one because it was sort of old and tattered. But without giving away too much of the story, so that you'll be somewhat surprised if you're not familiar with it already, let's just say he didn't get what he ordered. So you're going to see on stage different themes recurring within the orchestra. You know, we've got a hockey playing theme. There's sort of the small town Quebec sort of folk reel theme. You're going to hear a theme for the mother whenever she speaks, a theme whenever Maurice Rocket Richard's name is introduced, and of course when they play hockey themselves, like I said. And you may actually see maybe a short hockey game on stage as well. It's a wonderful piece of music. I had the great pleasure of performing this before, and it's a fantastic book. This book has been to space. It's been on the images of the book have been on the back of the $5 bill, and it really is an iconic Canadian classic. And we are so thrilled and so lucky to have narrating the book for us on stage Saturday night. We will have the CBC's Tom Allen with us, and we couldn't be more delighted to have Tom, who is, of course, an absolutely masterful orator and narrator, and we know that it's going to be just quite the spectacle for the ears and for the eyes, and to get a full sense of the book. You'll even see some images of the magnificent illustrations from the book cast up on a screen behind the orchestra as well. After we're finished with the hockey sweater, we're going to play a little bit more holiday theme music, as I had mentioned, where we're going to present the suite from the Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky. There's really not a season that goes by when we don't get to play Nutcracker. It is an absolute staple in our repertoire. It's one of my very favorite pieces to conduct. I've had the pleasure of conducting it in Halifax with Halifax Dance. I've done it with the Minnesota Ballet, and I've conducted, of course, here several times with the National Ballet of Canada. It is, like I said, one of my most favorite pieces of music to conduct. It's wonderful music for the orchestra. It's the orchestrations, the imaginative colors, and all the dramatic harmony really makes it just such a fine specimen of music. It was written and premiered in 1892, and interestingly enough, it was not originally written for children. It was actually quite a dark story at first, a story that's been lightened up over the years with various adaptations, of course. And of course, it's about a girl who befriends a Nutcracker who comes to life on Christmas Eve, and he wages battle against the evil Mouse King. And we'll play for you the first suite. This suite was actually released before the full ballet was performed, And the suite is a suite of dances from the ballet, all these characteristic dances where all the different characters are introduced. And it's mostly from the second act. And you'll hear all the favorites. You hear Sugar Plum Fairy and the Trepak and Waltz of the Flowers, and among others. There's so many wonderful moments in this ballet that it's really, really quite difficult just to narrow them down. But this suite does do that quite effectively. And so we're delighted to get to play this music for you and sort of set up the holiday season with a good dose of Nutcracker. Now, after we're finished with that, and after the intermission, we will move on to one of the pillars of the violin solo repertoire, one of the mountains, staple, the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. Now, when this was first composed in 1878 and then premiered in 1881, it was just about 10 years before Nutcracker, the first reviews were very critical. They were not liked at all. It was coming off the heels of the Brahms Violin Concerto, and they were very different in many ways. And one reviewer said, this concerto is to have left the violin beaten black and blue. It is a dizzying and sort of dazzling display of fireworks and sort of the range of the instrument and what it can do. But, since then, of course, it's just become one of the most beloved works in the solo repertoire. It's got a brief but beautiful and intriguing introduction in the first movement, and then you're going to hear plenty of romantic melody and irresistible charm and elan, and plenty of back and forth between the soloist and the orchestra. And it's just, the first movement really stands on its own in many ways. Then we have a short but sweet, tender, poignant, and lyrical second movement that has the opening and closing has these beautiful chorales in the woodwinds that are being played very, very well by your orchestra. And then, of course, the finale brings us this boundless energy, this excitement and pure virtuosity in this finale. It's really a showstopper in so many ways. And we bring back to the stage, she was with the orchestra a few years ago playing the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, another wonderful piece of music. We bring back Eva Lesage to play this Tchaikovsky for us. She's an incredibly talented musician. We had a rehearsal a couple of nights ago, and we were just blown away by her pure virtuosity and her talent. And she's really bringing everything to the stage in playing the Tchaikovsky with us this upcoming Saturday. And I am absolutely sure, and we are sure, that you will not be disappointed in this concert and in this program. And we really hope to see you all there Saturday, December 11th at 8 o'clock p.m. Thanks so much, and see you then.